Hi, today we're going to review ecosystems. Remember, ecosystems have to do with energy and interactions with their environment. Some good places for reference would be your textbook, so either the tiger or the wolf. And you might also want to look at your 10% lab and your Oh Dear lab for reference. So just to start us off, we got a reminder of what is ecology. Ecology is the interaction between living and non-living things. You might want to remember how ecology and ecosystem are organized. You can remember the acronym that we talked about. One person can eat big broccoli. We start with an organism, which is just one, to a population, a community, an ecosystem, a biome, and a biosphere. Please feel free to go look at the YouTube to find the link about the foxes on Sophia. We also can talk about the abiotic cycles. For a class assignment, we can refer back to our coloring sheets that walk through this process also in the book. We remember there are 4 abiotic cycles, including water, which is seen here, carbon, which cycles between carbon dioxide and oxygen, the nitrogen, which is found in protein, and the phosphorus cycle. We also focused a lot on populations, and this was especially pertinent in the Oh Dear lab. We learned that populations go up because of birth and immigration, and we also learned that populations go down because of death and immigration. It's also good to be able to analyze graphs, so we know that right here we have the exponential curve, and we also have carrying capacity up here, which will note carrying capacity, remember, has to deal with the amount that a area can hold, and humans are an exception to this because we jump past our carrying capacity and we're able to continue with only decreases due to issues with maybe things like the plague. You also want to remember the vocabulary words of density dependent factors and density independent factors. Your density dependent factor is one that depends on the size of the population, while density independent will always be a problem. Remember when we did these comic books? I remember. We mostly learned that ecosystems change, and that's through, we start off with just what's on there, basic stuff, doing photosynthesis. Over time, move to grasslands and more complex forests. But as always, even though an ecosystem had to be destroyed, secondary succession pops in. So ecosystems change, but we're always in a cycle, we're always in flux. Well, second to last, I want to touch on some human actions. So what are some things that humans are doing that are hurting our environment? We are reducing biodiversity, and remember, biodiversity has to do with species. So the less species we have, the harder it is to deal with things like food chains and food webs. There are logging and deforestation, which you might see in the Lorax, something we'll talk about later this week. Littering and climate change. But what can humans do about those to benefit them? Use things on the right, such as list things as endangered species, protect them, create animal sanctuaries, reduce, reuse, and recycle our work, and have actual lifestyle changes that change what we do. Lastly, remember we're all connected in this kind of great circle of life, whether it's a food pyramid or an energy pyramid, a food chain, or maybe even a food web. We are all connected, we are all interacting, and we're all around this idea of energy and interactions. So whenever we're thinking of the theme for this unit, we really want to focus on energy and interaction. So that's pretty much it for my quick little review. Make sure that you're not this guy. You want to make sure you're this guy. So what can you do? Make sure to call, come to office hours, do well, and be well. And that's something we can use to make sure you know what's going on in ecology.